So at the beginning of 2020, this is what the garden looked like. Huge piles of lantana, which is an invasive bush, which I'd been systematically pulling out, and I was just leaving as piles and what I was planning on using as firewood. It turns out lantana is not the very best firewood. It burns out pretty quickly. The thornwood from the acacias around here is much better. And so in February of 2020, I had my workers come around for the last time before the pandemic lockdown to do a major clear of the garden space. It was great to be able to walk around an area and start to imagine how things would be laid out. We had a braai at the end of the day, knowing that I wouldn't see them again for maybe many months, so it was quite sad. So I was in a slightly reflective mood this day. In Africa, it storms big time. I love them. Wouldn't change it for the world. This, it turns out, is a member of the deadly nightshade family. So they are poisonous. It's a good thing I didn't decide to sample the bright red berries. But it certainly is a beautiful plant. So a month or so went by and some of the weeds started coming back, and by then we were in proper full lockdown, and I decided to get in there on a daily basis and start weeding. This became the norm back in March of 2020. The inevitable happened and I punctured an underground water pipe, which really infuriated me. So I decided there and then to uncover all of the water pipes and to surface mount them, which is possibly why farmers do it, to prevent that kind of damage. So this was the repair. MacGyver would be proud of me. Duct tape and zip ties. Beautiful morning sun. So this was after probably 2 or 3 days work. There's always some joker taking a photograph of his shadow, isn't there? Progress was slow. The days were warm in March and April in the southern hemisphere. It is our summer going into autumn. So I was working a few hours early morning and a few hours late afternoon on my own, obviously. Belinda, my landlady, recommended that I plant around the perimeter some broad beans which she had saved from her garden. This I duly did. So I wasn't just weeding, I was digging down fairly deep and uncovering roots and stumps and rocks along the way, some of which could be removed, some of which I just dug and sunk, some of which I just had to leave in the garden. They were just too big to move. Such as this stump, for example. I uncovered as much as I could and then just hacked off the trunk as low down as I could and then covered it with soil. I didn't want to poison it because that is not the permaculture way. That is the look of a slightly tired and yet very proud farmer with his collection of 50 planted beans. You unearth some very interesting creatures. This was an incredibly shiny, segmented, bronze-colored worm of sorts. If anybody knows what this worm is, please let me know in the comments. Even though it looks as though not too much has been done, there's been a lot cleared up above and below the ground. Another early morning start. This shot is taken just outside the fence, looking back at the house. And just when you think you're nearing the end, you uncover another very large rock. This shows the relocated black compost bins, which I have subsequently further relocated to the other side of the house. The garden tap that you see here, I've also removed for fear of vandalism. One last little patch to go. Now, if anybody knows me, they know that I have a fascination for frogs. I think they're absolutely adorable. The way they look, the way their skin feels, the way they hop around, they're just fantastic. I still see frogs on a regular basis. And that was it for part 1. Join me next week for part 2, where I finish the weeding and uncovering of rocks process, map out the contours, and build the first paths and beds, and sow the first seeds. We'll also see if those beans that I've planted are coming up. See you then. Thank you so much for watching. I have a favor to ask of you. If you can think of anything that I haven't covered, please let me know in the comments below, and I shall fix that little problem with a video dedicated to you. To watch a new video, click here. To watch a playlist, click right here. If you think you'll enjoy watching videos about my alternative lifestyle, and I think you will, hit that subscribe button. I also have a comedy channel which I think you'll enjoy. For that you can click up here. Please like or don't like. I upload a new video every Wednesday.